Thanks to everyone for being here tonight. We're looking forward to a wonderful evening to celebrate the inductions of Raymond, Lippy, Rocher, Michelle Mason, Wilson Perez, Megan McLaughlin, and Debbie Higgins. Each of our inductees has brought great credit to Keene State through their performances and leadership on and off the courts, the fields, and the trails. It is with tremendous pride that we recognize and honor them tonight. So let's get things started. Lippy DeRocher, if you would join me, please, at the dais. Our plan was to have JoJo and Angela here to introduce Lippy, but unfortunately JoJo could not make it tonight. JoJo sends his sincere regrets to Lippy, but he passed along some comments that I'm pleased to read for him at this time. In addition, Roger Simpson, a former teammate of Lippy's, also forwarded some comments which I would like to share with you. But before I read the comments, I would like to also recognize Lippy's wife, Betty. Betty is a member of the Plymouth State Hall of Fame in golf, and we won't hold that against you, Betty, but Betty is a member of the Plymouth State Hall of Fame. And when Lippy is inducted, it will mark the first time ever that a husband-wife team has been a member of the Hall of Fame of Keene State and Plymouth State. So congratulations to you both. So the comments from JoJo. A big man even back then, but an excellent athlete despite his size. Lippy had a great swing and hit for power. He hit the longest home run on the newer field, breaking my father's record. A very good defensive first baseman with great footwork around the bat. Led the Owls in stolen bases 2 of his 4 years. So that's very impressive. In one of the games that I remember most, late in the game against Salem State, they were getting on Lippy because he was on first base after going 3 for 3 in plate appearances. They were calling him big boy, fat man, etc. Listening to them chirp away ticked Lippy off. Listening to them chirp away ticked Lippy off, so he proceeded to steal second, steal third, and then scored on a ground ball to the shortstop. Lippy slid into home, got up, dusted himself off, looked over at the Salem State bench, walked back to ours without so much as a sound from him or the opposing bench. His junior and senior years, Lippy attracted some interest from both the Red Sox and the Cardinals, but teaching and coaching were his goals for the future. In 1966, Lippy was given the Manchester Union Leader's highest heroic award for saving a man's life who had fallen into the icy Merrimack River. So those are JoJo's comments. And Roger Simpson, a classmate who graduated in 1963. Dear Lippy, sorry to say I'm unable to attend your induction into the KSC Athletic Hall of Fame, but I do send my heartiest congratulations for this well-deserved recognition of a gifted athlete who was also a terrific roommate. Your arrival on the baseball field forced me off my perch at first base to another position in the infield. It made sense that your pachyderm stature should anchor the infield, although it took several counseling sessions at Eno's for me to get over it. I'm assuming Eno's was a bar. No? Yeah, okay, all right. It was soon obvious, however, that you were very athletic, nimble on your feet, and could rocket a baseball out of sight. You earned and owned your position, while the batter's box was an amazing comfort zone for you, like a second helping and banana splits. I'm just reading. I remember that we made several attempts to assist Coach Joyce in game situations, but it always seems that by the time Coach Joyce digested our options, the situation had imploded. I also remember you telling me about going to the storage room over at the old Spalding gym with Coach Joyce and discovering boxes of new bats. We were starved for bats on the field, having only 3 or 4 to choose from. When you asked Coach why more bats weren't available to us, he said, "Well, you guys are just going to break them." A belated thanks to you for convincing him to share the bounty. I'm not sure where the nickname Lippy came from. Was it because you were never at a loss for words? Was it because of your frequent attempts at funny jokes? Was it because of your irrepressible and infectious personality? It was a combination of all of that, plus the influence of the no-nonsense manager of the Brooklyn Dodgers of the 40s, Leo the Lip Rocher. I like playing cards with you in our dorm room against other players. We always seemed to do very well, especially when it was your deal. I remember playing cribbage at your parents' house in Manchester. You and your dad and another player would be downstairs in the man cave. Your mother came downstairs one time and your father slipped his hand inside his shirt to turn off his hearing aid. Your mom was very angry about that. Your parents were very kind to me and I felt comfortable there. Congratulations, Lippy. This award and you are very special. Enjoy this moment, enjoy the memories, and always protect the outside corner. Roger Simpson.
Not much left to say. To Dr. and President Helen Giles G., to Director of Athletics John Ratliff, to the KSC Hall of Fame Committee, and to KSC graduate and member of the Hall of Fame Joe Giovanangeli, I'm sure most of you know, who nominated me. I thank you. I thank you all for your nomination and acceptance to the Keene State College Hall of Fame. John, I'm not used to batting leadoff because every team I ever played for, I batted either third or fourth, so bear with me. Academically, I had 4 good years here at Keene State College, which aided me in grad school later on, mostly because of, some of you may remember this gentleman, Dr. Malcolm Keddy. How many of you remember Dr. Keddy? Okay. He was a tremendous English professor and a better man. Sports-wise, I was fortunate enough to be one of the team's leading hitters every year. After tonight, I promise I won't use the word I for a long time, but I think in my sophomore year, I think I hit 500 and over 400 in my freshman year. There were a few long home runs. John mentioned one in the Ashwellet River in the bottom of the 9th with the score tied 0-0 against, you get it, Linden State of Vermont. And then we never had too much luck against our arch rival Plymouth State College. But John Foley was a famous coach, baseball coach at Plymouth. And I got a hold of one over his center fielder's head, which had never been done before, and John said it was the longest ball he'd ever seen hit at Plymouth. Unfortunately, we lost the game, and that's the most important thing, but I tried. After graduation, I taught English at Goffstown High School for 18 years. I coached baseball for 8 years. My good fortune continued as a coach because our team won approximately, and I stand to be corrected on these numbers, but they're close. In the 8 years, we won approximately 116 games, and we lost 16. I attribute that to a great bunch of young men at Goffstown High School. One of them is here tonight. He was the catcher for 4 years for me on the baseball team. And you can see why no one ever tried to steal home, and he was able to block the plate. He also hit a home run in every one of the playoff games that we were in during his 4 years. Okay? Timmy, would you stand up, please, just for a second? All right. Anybody want to slide for him? Whatever success I had in baseball was because of my father. He loved the game. He knew the game inside and out, and he passed it on to me at a young age. My father attended the University of Maine, and at the end of his sophomore year in 1918, the Boston Red Sox signed him out of college to a contract, and they made him a special offer under the table, a $100 bill, which he'd never seen before. And he left college and always said that's the biggest mistake that he ever made. He went south with the Red Sox, and those days was in St. Louis. When I was a kid, he used to tell me about, he pitched batting practice for the Red Sox against Babe Ruth. Of who was with the Red Sox at the time. He said he threw the Babe about 20 balls and they never saw any of them again. John Radcliffe asked me to explain the nickname Lippy, so I will attempt to tell you. I'll tell you the true story, because I have about 5 versions, and I'll tell you the true story. My last name is Rocher, and some of you may remember, or you old baseball fans, there was a manager in New York, in the Brooklyn area, by the name of Lippy Rocher. Now, apparently, Leo Rocher used to argue quite a bit with the umpires, and so he got the nickname Lippy. Ladies, if you're old enough, you may remember that he was married to a famous movie star whose name was Lorraine Day. Some of you might remember that. I guess she wasn't so famous, but at any rate, that's... Now, I was born just about that time, and when other kids had a teddy bear in their crib, I had a ball and glove. So I started playing, from walking time, I was playing baseball. Thus the nickname Lippy. It's not because I talk a lot, I'm garrulous or loquacious, I do talk a lot. And John stole some of my thunder here. Tonight's honor is especially important to me because in the year 2001, my wife, Betty, was inducted into the Plymouth State College Hall of Fame, which at that time was our rival, for her achievement in golf. As a matter of fact, she was a state champion in women's golf, and ironically, she won it right here at the Keene Country Club, and she set the course record. Okay? And so she got inducted into the Plymouth, and as John said, I don't know if there are any other 2 halls of famers in one family, let alone a husband and wife. I don't know. If somebody wants to do some research, go to it. Betty and I may not have any relatives, but we sure have a lot of friends over there. There's 2 tables full of them, and I'd like to thank all those people for coming. I thank you all once again, and God bless you.